Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome. I'm Carrie McKinnon with the Solvang Library, and this is Elizabeth Saucedo of the Goleta Valley Library, and we're thrilled to be presenting this virtual discussion today titled Rescued: Bonds Between Humans and Animals. We have a stellar group of panelists. This event is part of the Goleta and San Ynez Valley Library's Book to Action community reading program funded by the California Center for the Book, featuring the book Strays by Britt Collins. And Elizabeth will tell you more about that in just a minute. But I have a couple of pre-program announcements. First of all, we're streaming live over two platforms today, the Solvang Library Facebook page and the Goleta and San Ynez Valley Library's YouTube channel. So during the second part of the program, you can use the comment section in both of those platforms to submit questions for the panelists. Second, we are so excited to announce that Limos Pet Supply has donated a $50 gift certificate, which one of you audience members today can win. So to enter the drawing, email your full name to solvanglibrary@cityofgoleta.org and put rescued in the subject line. So with that, I'm going to turn this program over to Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Carrie. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our panel discussion this afternoon. I'm very excited to welcome you to our program, which, as Carrie mentioned, is titled Rescued: Bonds Between Humans and Animals. As Carrie mentioned, this program is part of our 2020 Book to Action program here at Goleta Valley Library. A Book to Action program is a community reading program whereby a community reads the same title of a book collectively and participates in various programs that center around the themes and messages of that book. The action component of Book to Action comes at the end of the program, when the community comes together to participate in an activity or an initiative to bring to life some of those messages and themes that were discussed in the book. This summer, our book is Strays by Britt Collins, which focuses on the incredible bonds between humans and animals, as portrayed through this true story between a man named Michael King, a homeless man living in Portland, Oregon, who befriends a stray cat, who he names Tabor, in a journey across America, and it really focuses on the wonderful bonds between humans and animals. The donation drive that we are holding right now at Goleta and Solvang Libraries is our culminating action component of the Book to Action program. For more information, you can visit our website at goletavalleylibrary.org. The donation drive is going on through the end of next week. It will end on Friday, and we're so excited to be partnering with local organizations to bring to life these amazing themes of supporting humans and animals and the bonds that we can share. So our focus this afternoon will be on just that, and to help explore this wonderful topic, we have invited three wonderful panelists to speak with us, and it's my pleasure to now introduce them to the virtual stage. I'm excited to introduce to you Cece Baudet-Wellman from Happy Endings Animal Sanctuary.
Hey, Elizabeth, how are you?
Hi, hello, Cece. The mission of Happy Endings Animal Sanctuary is to provide refuge to abused or neglected horses or other domestic animals and uplift the lives of disadvantaged youth by providing a life-changing rehabilitation experience benefiting both children and horses. Cece Baudet-Wellman is the executive director and founder of Happy Endings Animal Sanctuary. She is a native of the San Ynez Valley, where as a child, Cece rode horses and began rescuing injured and orphaned animals. As a young woman, Cece volunteered at animal sanctuaries and apprenticed with Pat Derby, founder of Performing Animals Welfare Society, caring for and training exotic animals for movies. In 1988, Cece joined the Santa Barbara Wildlife Care Network as one of the original members of that organization, where she worked through 2009. Her duties included hands-on rehabilitation of injured and orphaned wildlife, specializing in mammals and birds of prey. While there, she was allowed to rehabilitate 2 black bears. In 2007, Cece's love of horses, her recognition of the healing power these majestic animals offer, and her own experiences as a child led her to both found Happy Endings Animal Sanctuary, and also inspired her to create a non-traditional therapeutic program at Happy Endings for at-risk children called Horse Angels, where neglected and abused kids find solace in the company of horses who have experienced similar life trauma. Welcome to our program this afternoon, Cece. We're so glad that you're here.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And next, I'm excited to welcome to our virtual stage, Ariana Katovich from Santa Barbara Wildlife Care Network. Santa Barbara Wildlife Care Network's mission is to rescue, rehabilitate, and return to the wild sick, injured, orphaned, or oil-impaired wild birds, reptiles, and small mammals in Santa Barbara and Ventura counties, and to educate the public about living in harmony with wildlife. Executive Director Ariana Katovich has a diverse experience in nonprofit management, strategy, fundraising, outreach, and advocacy. Ariana is the former Director of Operations for Cutting Edge Capital and the former Director of the Restoration Initiative at the Earth Island Institute. She won the David Brower Youth Award in 2000 for starting the UCSB Coastal Fund, which to date has generated millions of dollars for shoreline preservation at UCSB. Ariana is also a mom to a wonderful boy that loves the outdoors and animals as much as she does.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. It's wonderful to be here with you all.
Welcome, Ariana. And third, I'm excited to welcome to our program this afternoon, Robin Saritsev from the Santa Ynez Valley Therapeutic Writing Program. The Santa Ynez Valley Therapeutic Writing Program's mission is to provide quality equine-assisted activities to children and adults with physical, cognitive, social, emotional, and other life challenges, regardless of their ability to pay. The program was started by Dr. Marianne Evans, a local horsewoman and psychologist. Executive Director Robin Saritsev has been involved with the organization ever since she joined the program as a 12-year-old volunteer. Dr. Evans served as a mentor, becoming a close friend, and Robin has now served as the Executive Director of Santa Ynez Valley Therapeutic Writing for the past decade. Robin holds a bachelor's in science from Cal Poly in agribusiness. Robin's passion is to help her community through the healing power of horses. Welcome, Robin, Cece, and Ariana. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're thrilled to have you speak with us this afternoon and to learn more about the wonderful work that each of your organizations does in our community. And next, we would love to take a few minutes for you to tell us more about your organizations. What would you say are some of the most important features of your programs? And Robin, we can start with you this afternoon.
Oh, I think some of our most important features is that the horse is non-judgmental to our students who come to us with various challenges. They have no preconceived ideas. They just become a really safe, caring place for our students to grow and learn. We help people with special needs through the healing power of horses improve their speech, be able to stand and walk, make friends, take less medication, and have fun. Some of our students go on to become volunteers themselves, and 9 of our students have been riding with us for a decade. We normally serve 60 students a week. The movement of the horse, when a rider's on it, stimulates the rider's spinal cord and the language center of the brain. Our primary goals are behavior modification and healing. Each session is tailored to the student's diagnosis and goals. We are a PATH international program. PATH stands for the Professional Association of Therapeutic Horsemanship, and we are premier accredited, which means we get an audit every 5 years and we have to adhere to over 100 safety and best practices standards. And all of our instructors are PATH certified. They go through a certification process and then have 20 hours of continuing education each year. Our program was founded in 1990 by Dr. Marianne Evans, a lifelong friend and mentor to me, and our motto is walk, trot, heal. We get to partner with some wonderful organizations. In addition to serving students privately, we work with local special education classes, United Cerebral Palsy, Hidden Wings. We also have camps with CALM, the County Foster Youth Program, and United Hidden Wings. United Way. I wanted to just share a couple of quotes from mothers of some of our students. This program is amazing and life-changing. My son is nonverbal, but now he says thank you to his horse and everyone at the program, from a mother of a new student. My son is nonverbal, but he sings when he rides, mother of student. One particularly wonderful memory that I have of the horse-human bond is one of our horses named Julie is particularly affectionate. and forms pretty strong bonds with several of our students. And a few years ago, he had hurt himself, and so we sent him to a local barn for him to recover and get some rehab. And it was about 6 months before he came back to us. And Amanda, one of our students who's wheelchair bound, came for her first lesson after he'd been away for 6 months. And Kim, the instructor, got duly put in his halter, started leading him out of his pen. And this normally very docile horse pushed past the instructor, went straight to Amanda, and dropped his head in her lap for her to give a hug to. And that was just a very special moment between the horse and the human. And if you want to show our video clip now, I would love to share it with everybody.
Thank you so much, Robin. That was a beautiful introduction to Santa Ynez Valley Therapeutic Riding, and we're excited to learn more later in the panel discussion this afternoon. And next, we will pose our same question to Cece from Happy Endings Animal Sanctuary. Cece, could you tell us a little bit more about your organization and what you would say some of the most important features are?
Well, let's see. The most important features are all of them, actually. Without the horses, we would have no education programs. We have programs that we offer free of charge to schools and camps and the general public to learn more about responsible animal care, animal welfare, And we also have a program we call Horse Angels, and we use horses that have had very traumatic life experiences, that have been abused and neglected, and we pair them up with children who have had very similar life experiences, and it's magic. I back out. It's all up to the horse and the kid, and it's very, very special. Um, Besides that, we obviously rescue the horses. Our rescue program consists of, um, besides actually physically taking the horse out of the problem situation, we respond to different situations where someone may have lost their job and they can't afford to feed their horse or take care of it. And we can only do that not on a big scale, but a very small scale. And we help them with interim food and medicine and things like that until they get back on their feet. We're also available to call for members of our community who, if they find a neglected or an abused animal, they don't want to call animal control, they can call us and we'll call animal control. We respond to calls, about safety. If someone thinks that there's a problem, and I don't want to just call animal control and not make sure that there really is a problem, we'll go out and check it out and make sure that, um, yes, in fact, it is a problem, or no, it's not, and there's a reason for it. Um, we have a real rehabilitation program for the horses in our care. They come in and they're in bad shape, so we get them back to health physically, emotionally. We do liberty training, which is all body language. It has nothing to do with halters and ropes and bridles and saddles. Nothing that would trigger any kind of an emotional response from the horse. We're doing body language and uh, talking to them in their language so that they're not afraid. Um, so that's kind of a very neat way to get the animal back into trusting humans and to be able to be safe because they have a level of trust, and we can get them back to being adoptable and hopefully find a wonderful forever home for them. Um, I guess our video is going to be next. If you want to roll that video, that would be terrific.
Thank you so much, Cece. That was a beautiful introduction to Happy Endings Animal Sanctuary, and those pictures were absolutely heartwarming. So we're looking forward to learning more about your wonderful organization further in our panel this afternoon. And next, we would love to hear from Ariana with the Santa Barbara Wildlife Care Network about what you would say was the most important feature of your organization, and to tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Sure. And I just want to say, I don't know if we might be having an audio issue with the video. So if you want me to keep talking, I'm happy to do that. And if you want to show the video, you can send me a message in the chat. I hope it's just a problem on my end. But Santa Barbara Wildlife Care Network has been in our community for 32 years. We started as a very small organization, just a few concerned people who were caring for animals, you know, in their kitchens. And now we've grown into an organization that handles 4,000 animals a year. We are in the busiest season right now. We're in spring baby season. So from March until September, our organization will see 2,500 animals, sometimes up to 60 a day, which is quite a lot. And it requires a huge community response. We have almost 300 regular volunteers that assist us. We have dedicated staff, and we have interns that all make this work for wildlife possible. We take everything from the small hummingbirds to coyote pups to pelicans. We have to be resourced. If there's a oil spill or domoic acid poisoning, wildfire, so our organization always must be ready for what's happening in the environment and to respond to the need of wildlife. We see animals that are injured, oiled, orphaned, sick, and we try to give them the best care that we can. And it's always the goal to return that animal back to living the wildlife that it was meant to live. We are growing. We just hired the first veterinarian that our organization has ever had. Dr. Avery Berkowitz joined our team in April as our new director of animal care. And with Avery on board, we're now able to take x-rays, do surgeries, do advanced pain control. So it's really quite an operation. And we are working now to build a wild animal hospital. We are the only organization that does general wildlife rehabilitation in Santa Barbara and Ventura County. And we've done so very meagerly on our property in Goleta. You know, our kitchen is a shed. Our baby bird room is a trailer. And now we're building a 5,000 square foot wild animal hospital. And we're right in the middle of a very exciting capital campaign to make that dream a reality. So it's a very exciting and transformational time at Wildlife Care Network. And I think the sound is resolved. So I think the best way for us to communicate what we do is to show you through the eyes of our rescuers, and we can cue the video. Thank you.
So reading from my Vista, it said there was a possum in the bottom of a trash can.
My son saw that there was a cat that had somehow gotten a hold of a hummingbird.
Hi, I just rescued a barn owl in a very challenging situation.
This little bird was just above where the waves were breaking and sat there very, very quietly.
Someone was trimming an old fir tree that was dying, and all of a sudden we hear the tree trimmer say, "Uh-oh," and he cut through the top of the nest. Fortunately, it was just fate that he didn't go deeper. He would have cut right through them.
Just couldn't get up out of it. It was empty. The trash can had nothing. It was stuck at the bottom.
And he immediately went there and got the bird out of the cat's mouth and then put it in the box. The bird wasn't able to fly anymore. Obviously, it was in shock.
Had to move a lawnmower to get to it, and it ran one direction and the other.
It looked like it was totally exhausted. It was soaked all the way through. The feathers were soaked.
So we said, "No, stop. We have to save the baby bird." and they were covered in sawdust. So I pulled them out one by one, put them in the box, and then they were like all on top of each other.
But I threw a towel over the top of its head so it couldn't see, and it calmed down. And then I reached down and I grabbed the towel with the gloves on, put it in here, and brought him over to Lane to check him out.
So I figured the best thing to do is come down here, drop it out so they can care for it to see if it can once again fly again.
Anyhow, I managed to get it with my pool net finally.
So I came back with a cardboard box, rag, and put it in the box. And I brought it here. And it was great to come back here and meet the wonderful people that are operating this facility.
Thank you so much for those beautiful introductions to your organizations, Robin, Cece, and Ariana. Those were gorgeous videos. And for any of the technical difficulties we had, we'll be sure to post links to those videos in the chat comments after the program today so that viewers can continue to enjoy those at home. Those are really special and beautiful. And I'm also loving the comments that are coming in on the side. So just a reminder to anyone who is thinking of a question during our panel discussion this afternoon, feel free to leave a comment on YouTube or Facebook or to email one into solving library@cityofgoleta.org, and we'll try to make sure we have time to answer it at the end today. So thank you again for those great introductions. Next, we'd like to move into our panel discussion for the afternoon. We have a question to start us off, and we'll start with you, Robin. Could you tell us a little bit about what you would say the biggest challenges that you or your participants in your program face at SYV Therapeutic Writing?
One challenge we have for getting students to us is the difficulty with transportation in North County because most of our students, even our adult students, don't drive. So there's just kind of a practical difficulty. And then more on the recreation side, most of our students aren't able to participate in other activities with other people and other animals. So our form of therapy and recreation is unique in that almost anybody can participate. We have a lift. We can help people that are wheelchair bound and have different paralyses. So we kind of use the horse as the great level playing field. Most everyone can participate.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that insight into your program. Next, Cece, we would love to hear your thoughts on the same question. What are the biggest challenges that you would say you or your participants face in your program at Happy Endings Animal Sanctuary?
Well, I'm going to go with what Robin said at first. A lot of the kids don't drive, and especially when you're working with the foster care system, you're depending on CASA workers and different foster families for the transportation, which makes it a little bit difficult. Obviously, neither one of us can go and pick them up. So that is a very big challenge. I would say the other challenge for the participants is that when we try to adopt out a horse, horses are very expensive. And so a lot of people don't really understand what they're getting into. And so when we tell them what it actually involves when you look into horse ownership for the rest of the animal's life, they're shocked because they don't quite understand the price of what things are these days. So that is a huge challenge. Trying to adopt out a very expensive animal, it would be probably the same, as like an elephant or something. They're very expensive too.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Cece. We appreciate that insight. And next, we'll hear from Ariana regarding the challenges that you or your participants face at Santa Barbara Wildlife Care Network.
Yeah, so every day is different at Wildlife Care Network. We could have a large storm in the ocean that churns up a lot of natural seep oil, and we could have 200 seabirds that are brought into our care in a month. We could have a big windstorm that blows down a lot of nests, and we have a lot of infant babies to take care of. We could have an injured bobcat. We could have a bat. We just really never know. Some days we have 5 intakes, some days we have up to 60. So it's a little unpredictable, which is a big challenge for us. And baby season, of course, is our largest challenge that we can count on happening every year. Right now we're getting the double clutch, so we just went through a huge baby season, and now we're getting the second wave of babies. And it's been particularly challenging this year because of COVID, because we haven't had the same volunteer force that we would normally have. And so, being at the mercy of what's happening in the environment and baby season makes for some big challenges. We've also not had the adequate facilities to care for all of the animals that we would like to take care of. So we haven't had the right facility to care for oiled birds. So every week, 52 times a year, we have a volunteer that drives oiled birds from our facility to International Bird Rescue in San Pedro, which is, if they're lucky, a 5-hour round trip. So we see oiled birds every day almost because of the natural seepage in the ocean. And that is hopefully being solved now. We just got our first pelagic pool at the center installed this week. And the new hospital certainly will give us much more capability to care for animals and to be able to care for animals all the way from triage up to release. So it's a challenging time, but as we all do, get through it with our community.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ariana. We appreciate you sharing those insights with us. And something I feel from all 3 of your responses to that question was just how integral that human-animal bond is to everything that you do within your organizations. And I wanted to ask next, our viewers at home would love to know, what would you say is the most important part of that bond, of that human-animal relationship that you've seen while working through your organization? And if you can relate any specific stories of how you've seen humans and animals communicating in your work, that would be so special. We would love to hear. And Robin, we'll start with you. That would be wonderful.
So the horse-human bond has been strong for thousands of years. We have a long history of using horses in many aspects of our lives. And the interesting thing about that is we are predators and they are prey. So we as humans have to learn to go about things in a little different way so that we don't frighten the horses. And one story that I think speaks volumes to how much a horse can heal a person is we have a summer camp with Calm. And last summer, there was a young lady that was attending who had been abused. And she always wore a hoodie and had selective mutism. And she came with a group of 5 other Calm kids and their counselor, and worked with Dr. Peter Clayton with us at our barn. And first time she came, the hoodie was on, didn't talk, didn't really participate. The second time, when she was over with one of our horses, Annika, who is a beautiful Frisian mare who looks like something out of a fairy tale, she took her hoodie off And the therapist is going, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And the next time, took the hoodie off again and slowly started talking with the group. So at first it just started with the horse, just kind of feeling confident and comfortable and bringing her out of her inner turmoil that she was facing, because she, of course, had faced much more challenges than most of us will ever face. And by the end, she was participating with the group, with other kids, without the hoodie on. So that was a huge success. And I have to say, it all due to Annika, our beautiful Frisian mare.
And that's a beautiful story, Robin. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. It absolutely illustrates the power that humans and animals and that special bond can have on participants. So thank you so much. And Cece, we would love to hear from you as well about the most important thing you would identify between the human-animal bond. And if you have any remarkable stories, we would love to hear those as well.
Well, I think the most important thing about the human-animal bond is a common respect and trust. If you are able to communicate well enough with the horse or the animal and read it and know how to adapt your behavior, because it's pretty much their rules. So if you can adapt your behavior so that you are, number one, safe, and number two, communicating with that animal that they are safe and that you're a friend and maybe you want to play, or maybe you're just going to help. And so I think that the trust and the communication is the most important thing. One of my favorite stories, 7 years ago, we had a little girl and her brother come with a group of kids, and they were both really shut down and they were terribly abused. And they bonded with a big red horse of ours, mare, named Jigs. And they came out of their shell and learned how to brush her, and they would give her cookies and they would love her. And at the end of each session, we gave them one-on-one time with the horse and told them to go give her a cookie and give her a hug and thank her for the wonderful time that they had, and tell her their deepest, darkest secret, because she was the friend that they've never known, because she would never, ever tell anyone. And so they did. And the difference between when they walked down the driveway and when they walked away from us was night and day. And last year, I went to a symposium at a friend's ranch, and I looked up at the video tower, and there was a gal that looked really familiar, and I kept looking at her, and she kept looking at me, and I was looking at her, and she was looking at me. Finally, she came down, and she said, "You don't remember me, do you?" And I said, "You look awfully familiar, but I can't, place your name." And she said, "I'm one of those kids that Jig saved." So, when Robin was talking about it's all about her horse, their horse saving this kid, it's true. The horses are amazing healers. They're amazing friends, confidants, and just probably the most wonderful example of unconditional love, which is something that humans really have a lot of work to do yet still. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that beautiful story with us, Cece. That's really moving. Thank you so much. Next, we'll hear from Ariana about the same question regarding that human-animal connection, and any stories that you have to share, we would love to hear today.
Sure. Well, we say that we see the best of humanity in caring for animals at Wildlife Care Network. You know, we have 4,000 animals that come through our doors every year, and that represents probably 4,000 concerned people that took time out of their day to help an injured animal. And we also get 10 to 12,000 calls a year on our helpline. So we hear concern, we talk people through those concerns. And, you know, we're in a little bit of a different position. We are predators to wild animals. They come to us and they are not having their best day. They've been caught in a glue trap. They've, you know, they've got oil, they're sick, they've, you know, orphaned. So, you know, we have to be a predator, but also the caregiver. And so we do become their mothers for a time, bottle feeding baby raccoons, hand feeding the featherless little tiny baby birds that, you know, you have to balance their heads in between your fingers because they're just so little and delicate. And we actually have to train them that we are predators as they grow older. So we have to kind of communicate to them that they should be wary of us. And so the best thing that we can do is let that animal go free and have it never look back. So it's a selfless act, I think, and the people that gravitate toward the work for wildlife are very empathetic, compassionate people. They obviously love the natural world, they love animals, and they're very selfless. I've never really seen this kind of egoless work before, where people just show up, work hard, care for this animal, and just really hope to just let it go. And we see some really incredible stories. I mean, we have so many of people that, you know, bring in the little possum in their slipper or a nest of birds in their hat, or children that, you know, find an animal and create a little home for it, a little habitat in the cardboard box and bring it to us crying and hoping that it's okay. And we do track all of our animals in a database, and anyone can call us and give us the ID number of that animal, and we'll let them know how it's going. But one of the best stories I have is we were leading a tour of Wildlife Care Network, and at the end of the tour, we were in the parking lot talking, and a car drives up, and a man's in the car. It's kind of an older, kind of beat up car, maybe. He doesn't have a shirt on, and he's pulls in kind of nonchalantly, and one of our staff members went out to talk to him and took something from him and went into the baby bird trailer. And we're just kind of watching, kind of, hey, how's it going? And he just kind of went like that. And a minute later, the staff member comes out and says, you know, do you want your shirt back? And we were all just sort of stuck with, this man took his shirt off of his back, wrapped up an injured animal. It was a pigeon, you know. You know, some people wouldn't think that that's a very special animal, but this man took that time out of his day. And we see those stories over and over again. You know, people who are working on their jobs or out on a jog with their kids, or, you know, wherever they happen to be and file the white animal. So it's very heartening work. And we also believe that the animals know that we are helping them, and we release them. And whenever I get to do a release, I think in my mind, okay, you know, you're going to go free. You've got your second chance. Like, don't waste it. Fly away. Don't look back. And so, you know, we do our best to communicate that these animals are safe. And I think they believe that and know that. But certainly happy to leave.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Ariana. I can absolutely see that empathy and dedication are common threads within all three of your organizations, through and through, absolutely. And those are all really beautiful illustrations of that bond. So thank you so much for sharing this with us today. Lastly, I know a lot of our viewers at home have a lot of that same empathy and dedication that we've been talking about this afternoon. So for our closing question today, we would love to ask, how do each of you train your staff and your volunteers? And what do you think personally it takes to do animal rescue? And Robin, we'll start with you.
Okay, so normally, although not at the moment, normally we are always looking for volunteers to help in our program, usually sidewalking with some of our students that need more help. And we have one-on-one trainings with our volunteer coordinator. We follow a training guideline by our governing board path. And then we pair up the volunteer with a more senior volunteer for the first few times so they can kind of get get used to our system. We also do once a year annual training, kind of a training review to go through some of our emergency procedures and just reiterate best practices to talk through any challenges that anybody's having that we can use to help other people. We do like to have all of the horse-human love together to go to our students and not our volunteers. So we ask that our volunteers don't pet our horses' faces and things. So all of that affection can get channeled into our students from the horses. We don't require any horse experience. Our horses are very docile and easy to handle, and we have a very customized training program. All that we ask is that you're able to walk for about 45 minutes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that great information with us, Robin. Cece, we'd love to hear from you next.
Well, like Robin, I work with very large animals. And so there is a specific amount of training because safety is the #1 priority. And so the people who want to come and volunteer, if they don't have any horse experience, then we need to make sure that we teach them how to properly handle a horse and also how to be safe. So usually our volunteers have some sort of horse experience. And so we just go over with each volunteer about the horse's story, what they like, what they don't like, what their issues are. A lot of our horses are old, so they have trouble standing on 3 feet if you go to pick up their feet to clean out their feet. And some stomp their foot down, so you have to make sure that your foot's not in the way. Different safety issues basically with them. I think what it does personally to do animal rescue, I've been doing it for a long time. A long time. It takes selflessness to start out with. You want to help something that is helpless. Then it takes a little bit of a rhinoceros hide because you realize that you can't save them all. And the ones that you have saved, you need to relish in the fact that you did a great job and you really made such a difference to that animal. The ones that you can't save, you have to realize that they are in a much better situation with you, and so that they can go out with love and care and respect, and honor than starving in a field or alone and afraid and cold, or at the hands of an abusive person. So what I've learned from all of the years, it doesn't necessarily get easier as the decades roll on, but it's more clear the understanding that let's relish in what we can do and stop beating ourselves up or feeling guilty for what we can't do. So I think that is the biggest key.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Cece. That definitely resonates with us here, and I'm sure everyone at home can absolutely identify with that. It's very moving. Thank you so much. And Ariana, we would love to hear from you as well about how you approach your training for staff and volunteers and what's involved for Santa Barbara Care Network.
So we are a volunteer engine, I would say. We'll have hopefully 1,500 to 2,000 hours of volunteer service every month. And I once added up all of the volunteer hours and decided that if we had paid all those people minimum wage, it would have cost us at least $350,000. So our organization is volunteer-based, volunteer-driven, and that's just the DNA of our organization. We have a pretty robust training process. All of our volunteers go through an orientation, which we can now do over Zoom. And we have volunteers shadow more experienced volunteers and staff their first few shifts. We call them shadow shifts. And then they're able to help us in a variety of ways. And really, we say there's something for everybody at Santa Barbara Wildlife Care Network. We have people that do home care. We have people that care for animals in their homes, which is a pretty extraordinary thing. And we have people that just like to come and chop vegetables, or will chop vegetables at home and bring them in. We have people that deliver newspapers to us so that we can line our baby bird baskets. We have people who hand knit nests for our baby birds. We have folks that just like to build stuff, fix stuff, and help us do our facilities maintenance, volunteers that help us keep our seabird pools clean. We have our transport and rescue volunteers. These are people that drive animals. I mean, just pick them up, help figure out how to rescue them off the beach. We used to have to take all of our animals to an off-site vet. We don't have to do that now that Dr. Avery Berkowitz is with us, so that's kind of nice. But we'll have an owl and it needs to get re-nested in a tree. We'll have a volunteer do that. So volunteers who like to climb ladders. We have an army of people that answer the helpline. Volunteers can do that from home. We have volunteers that help us do fundraising and events, strategic consulting. I mean, honestly, we always say that we heal people as much as we heal animals. We definitely have a lot of people come to us who need experience or have had a loss or just a life change and find a purpose with us at Wildlife Care Network. And we're really geared and designed to help people find what that is. So I'm always just like incredibly inspired by the hundreds of people that are at the center. And ever since I joined the network, I feel like I gained a whole crew of best friends that, I don't know how I lived without them until now, from our board members to the folks that really just come and, roll up their sleeves and are ready to get dirty. So it is heartwarming work. It is very empathetic work. I echo CC. You have to be very tough in some ways because you can't save them all, but you find a lot of joy in the ones you can save. And knowing that every animal is treated with empathy and respect is really powerful. And I think it becomes a real passion and a real sort of just in your heart forever kind of experience that people take with them.
Thank you so much, Ariana. And all three of you have inspired all of us watching at home today. And we are so grateful that you have shared information with us and taught us a little bit more about the great work that all three of you do through your organizations. And for anyone watching live at home or watching the recording later, we'll be sure to post links to each of these incredible organizations so that you can learn more and you can find out ways to get involved now or in the coming months. So I wanted to extend a very warm thank you as our discussion has concluded for the afternoon. I wanted to send a very heartfelt note of appreciation to Robin, Cece, and Ariana for taking the time to speak with us today, to share your experiences and your passion, and to let us know more about the incredible work you are doing in the community. So thank you each so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I also wanted to thank the California Center for the Book and Limos Pet Supply for sponsoring our program this afternoon. For everyone who is tuning in at home, if you are interested in participating in our Book to Action program, copies of the book are available for checkout from the Goleta, Buellton, and Solvang libraries, both as print copies and as ebooks that you can borrow with your library card. If you are interested in participating in our book discussion, we have our final book discussion next Friday. We also have a fun craft craft event for the whole family where you can make your own dog toy using materials from around the house next Wednesday. That's going to be a lot of fun. And if you don't have a dog at home, you can still make a dog toy and donate it to our local animal shelter drive for our organizations here in the area, which is going on at the Solvang and Goleta libraries through next Friday. And for a list of all the materials that we would ask our community members to consider donating, you can visit our website at goletavalleylibrary.org. And we're collecting donated items for these fantastic organizations that you heard from today, as well as for ASAP and Care for Paws through next Friday, August 21st, during our sidewalk service hours, Wednesday through Saturday, 11 to 4. I also wanted to send a friendly reminder if anyone would like to enter the drawing to win a $50 gift card from Limos Pet Supply. Please email solvinglibrary@cityofgoleta.org with the subject line rescued. We'll also be giving away another $50 Limos gift card at our book discussion next Friday, hosted by Buelltown Library on the 21st. That concludes our program for the day. Please take a moment after the show, our wonderful panelists, to read the beautiful comments that our viewers left for you. You have clearly impacted and touched a lot of members of our community, and we're so thankful that you took the time to meet with us today to celebrate our Book to Action program and to help us become more involved and to understand the amazing work that you were doing each and every day to transform the lives of animals and residents in our community. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, everyone. And take care, everyone watching at home. Thank you.
Bye.